right. Oh my God. So this is the first, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. So we're at 115th and Adam Clayton. And I am biking to work. This is my first bike talk video ride since March, when I was actually doing the commute and then stopped because our office closed. And today it is September 14th. Let me just see. So much to talk about. So September 14th, and I'm riding from Harlem. So since we last talked, my office was shut down. The whole New York City office that we had, which had capacity for 200 people, no longer exists. We cut the lease. So my company, we don't have an office space anymore, so I don't have a place to go. But I decided I wanted to try out this service called, I think it's called Upflex, or where you can rent a desk, one of these very empty office spaces in New York City. It's only $25 a day. And so I started with that. I was like, I gotta get out of my apartment. I have 2 kids. Working from home with kids has been, let's just call it a challenge. And I'm like, I want to try something new. We got a babysitter. So our kids are safe. And my wife has a job, so she's doing her job from home. And for me, I could just go anywhere. So I said, let me take advantage of this. I literally have not been working anywhere other than my couch, which is has Homer Simpson indentation marks on it at this point, with my laptop. My laptop spacebar key is busted, kinda. Every time you hit it, it sort of hits it twice. So I have all these periods in all my writing, my emails and everything, because it thinks I'm at the end of a sentence. Because I hit because it bangs out 2 space bars instead of 1. Really frustrating. And I can't use a separate keyboard because I'm always sitting on the couch. And anyway, I'm complaining, but basically I was like, let me get out of here. And I'm so excited. September is the greatest month for biking. Well, and May, I think. It's a cool 70, 75 degrees here. I'm in Central Park. And so I'm renting a space. Well, actually I haven't booked it yet. I figured I'd show up, see what it's like, and then I can just book it last minute. It's not a big deal. Looks like it's pretty empty, so it's $25. It's down at 30th and Broadway. There's a place called Nomad Works, but it's one of the pins on this map. There's a number of different places, so you can work from any of these offices, and pretty cool. The other thing, there's a lot of things, but the other thing is I had to get this bike from Adam Clayton in 118th. There were no bikes in the city bike dock at 117th. Which is wild. Not uncommon, but it kind of tells you that the city, maybe at least a little nook, is healing a little bit, where people do have to bike somewhere on a Monday morning for work, which is always an encouraging thing. So I'm annoyed that the bikes are all empty in the dock, but also that's a great thing. Biking has exploded since we last spoke. over these last few months. Absolutely exploded. Lots of, like you really just see a lot more bikers, cyclists out, scooters, electrics, you know, cargo bikes are not uncommon, all kinds of stuff. So let's see. One of the other things is, I actually feel pretty confident and safe, so I am not even wearing a helmet today. I probably shouldn't say that, you know, but I don't want to jinx anything. But you know, it's kind of warm, and I'm wearing pants, and so my head and I have these like little Crocs on, so no socks. So my head and my shoes, or my feet, are venting the heat, which is nice. And so yeah, I'm taking basically the same route that I would always take for work. I think I'm gonna go down 7th Avenue for a little bit, but I do want to see, you know, there's been a lot of changes. I mean, I'm not gonna even attempt to sort of go through all of them, but I could talk about sort of my neighborhood, Frederick Douglass Boulevard, which is, you know, has a ton of restaurants and businesses, activity, all kinds of stuff. Became an open street, like an open restaurant street, a couple weeks ago, weekends. And so during the weekends, from Friday to Sunday, it's closed to traffic and completely. And instead they have, you know, all the restaurants bring out their tables and chairs, they set up, and they're really, you know, it is very natural. It is not, it's like a very natural environment. I think everybody in the neighborhood is really taken to it. You can kind of see, just like, you know, seats are full, people are relaxing, everybody's walking in the middle of the street. It's the kind of thing, you know, I did not think we would ever see this, at least for a long time, in New York City. But now it's fairly common. And in fact, like, I was just seeing the videos of down on Little West 12th, which is not only an open street, but they literally put down like 5,000 pounds of sod and grass in the like the cobblestones. Put down grass, you know, benches, little like wooden beams and stuff, restaurants. And it's like, you're like, whoa, this is like really like Europe. And you know, it's cool. It's the, you know, these kind of things are the thing that everybody needs to like see, experience, like physically walk through. And then you realize, oh yeah, this is clearly much better than parked cars. And obviously this like makes much more sense, but you know, people need to panic first and reject every little change before doing anything, because that's like the New York way. You know. So yeah, so Frederick Douglass is an open street. Been riding through there on the weekends, just checking it out, and it's just phenomenal. I've tweeted a bunch of videos of it. I think people really like get it, and it's the kind of thing that you can then say to the city, like, look at all these spots, like they should be permanent like this, or at least put in a way like positioned where this is the primary purpose of the street. Like the default use of a street is, you know, for walking and cycling and for business, right? Not for driving your truck from, you know, Missouri or Detroit or something, like really fast through the city. That is not a good purpose, not a good use. Oh, this woman right here, she got an electric. Oh, that was smart. Let's see, over the weekend we had the first cargo bike meetup. And I don't know, about a dozen, maybe 24 people came, maybe more than that, actually, like 20, 25 maybe. I didn't really keep count, but we had a good like at least a dozen bikes, I think. A dozen like real cargo bikes. And they're all kind of brands. Very, very cool. We did it up in Governor's Island, down on Governor's Island. And it was really fun to see everybody. Really fun to test drive all these other cargo bikes, right? I think that's one of the like best parts. You see these bikes. Like my favorite was the recent Mule, because that thing has it's a long john, similar to the Urban Arrow that we have, but it's got like these shocks on it, which make going over bumps and things actually sort of fun. You know, weird way you kind of want to hit like bumps and stuff, because you sort of have this smooth flowing, it's kind of like a roller coaster a little bit instead of like an abrupt jolt. So, which is what we have on the Urban Arrow when you hit stuff. So like the recent Mueller, that kind of it's also a couple $1,000s more than an Urban Arrow. So, but that was really sweet. And then I got to ride this like fat tire Remy Demi is what it's called, but it looks a lot like the Rad bikes, that same style, but a couple $1,000s more, because I think it's like, I don't know what brand, like German or something. No, actually I don't know where it's built, but it's a nice bike, because Propel was there and they brought drinks and stuff. They were great. They actually changed our seat also, our saddle, I'm sorry. You don't call it a seat. Real cyclists don't call your seat a seat, they call it a saddle. Our saddle split, so the ooze was like, or the gel was coming out. And that wasn't great. So we got that swapped out with this a really nice seat. And that's great. And I think now, looking at that woman with the electric city bike, where I had to actually walk a few extra blocks and get this, manual bike, I kind of want an electric. If I can get, so for me, what I'm trying to do today is sort of evaluate a new routine and see if maybe a couple days a week, when the kids are being looked after, because it's not every day, if I can escape to an office for a few hours. It's funny, like you talk to people, a lot of people don't want to go to an office. I'm like desperate. I've been desperate to get to a normal desk. I don't have a desk. Like I don't have anything. We have a 2-bedroom, but if I have to like sit and focus, I type on my laptop on the couch, which is not the ideal workspace. Oh, awesome. That's a turn with a child and a dog. It's awesome. Well, a guy came with one of those. That is a very, I think that's like a pretty standard New York kind of cargo bike. Like if we had to bring our bike inside, I think that's what I would go with. It's pretty sweet. This Turn GSD, I think. But it's like it's like thousands of dollars, so it's like not that much cheaper than the Urban Arrow, but it is super fun. So yeah, when I'm typing, I'm sitting on the couch. When I'm there you can see, super chill. When I'm typing, I'm sitting on the couch. When I'm on meetings, I have this like cardboard box in the bedroom that it's legit. It's not like I took a cardboard box from Amazon. It's like built to be a standing desk. But it doesn't have the like has a little like lip for the keyboard, but it's too high because it's on our dresser. And so I use it for really good, like to have meetings where I don't have to crane my neck or anything, and I can stand. But I can't really type on it because my hands are like, you know, you're supposed to have your angle of your arm is supposed to be like 90 degrees, and this is like, my arm is like angled all the way up and I'm like this. So not ideal. So that's it. That's my work space for the last 6-7 months or whatever, 6 months. Yeah, 6 months, actually 6 months like today. So yeah, so that's why I literally have not been in an office since I had to pick up all my stuff at the ClassPass office, which was very sad. And also I was like, oh, can I just stay here for a few hours? It's really nice and quiet and empty here. So I also don't know how I'm gonna get here. Let me see, I'm going to 30th and Broadway, and I want to try going down Broadway a little bit. So I think I'm gonna take 7th. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take 7th Avenue because it's fast, but it's not protected, which is crummy because New York City still pretty much sucks when it comes to bike infrastructure in a lot of these areas. So I'm gonna take 7th Avenue, see how terrible that is, and then get to maybe 40th, and then cut over to Broadway. And I think Broadway, oh, no, because then I'm gonna hit the whole, like, a bunch of messy stuff around 34th. 34th and Broadway is where all the streets collide, and then if you're a bike, you're like the last to get through. So you literally have to make 90-degree turns each time, like every 5 feet, and it's pretty crummy. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take 7th Avenue straight down and go down to 30th Street, I think. What I do need to know is where there is a hold on, where there is a cargo bike, hold up. Oh, there's one right here. Okay. Broadway and 29th. Perfect. So I'm going to Broadway and 29th. And I think Broadway, a lot of Broadway has been turned into like pretty nice open streets from what I've seen and heard. I haven't looked at it in a while. I haven't been down there, but now I have a good reason to get down there. So let's see. Oh man, I am a little bit sweaty, not gonna lie. So here you can see 7th Avenue has not had any changes since we last, sorry, the street has not been changed. This Le Pont Quotidien has shut down, which is really sad. So here you can see that's shut, prime retail for lease. So I did notice, I came down here a few weeks ago just to kind of see what the space looked like. Some of these businesses that, you know, I'd pass, and like this is one that I always would look into because there's a red light here that I always hit. You always hit it when it's green because the lights aren't timed properly, so you always kind of sit here for 20 seconds. So I'd always look inside there, and that's really sad. I mean, all of it's sad. So let's see. I mean, but then there's like good things, right? Like you got 910 restaurant has seating outside. Let's see. Just checking behind me here. You can't really tell from the video, but I am always looking around everywhere I go. It's just that this camera angle is only forward. I'm not going to get in the way of this giant truck that definitely doesn't have any visibility. Also not in a huge rush. I'm gonna enjoy this ride. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's hard to tell from this angle, but I'm looking left and right, and a lot of these businesses and things are closed. You know, you can see. Like it's funny, the street, the like traffic hasn't really changed. I mean, okay, it's a little quieter maybe, I guess, I don't know. It's, what time is it? It's like 9:30 or 9:45, not entirely sure, but like there's still lots of cars, you know. I mean, okay, this looks pretty empty, but I think very quickly you will see it is not going to be empty. I mean, who's driving into Times Square right now? There's like a reason for this, but for the rest of the city, like, there's way more traffic than you would imagine, like based on all the closed up businesses and things. So this is like where I think we've really failed at taking advantage of a pandemic to accelerate some of the goals that the city has had. These aren't like new concepts. To close down streets, make busways, right? Protected bus lanes, protected bike lanes, you know, things like that. And to just say, you know what? Because of this pandemic, we got to accelerate this stuff. If you're a driver and you were coming in March, April, May, right? You experienced like, you know, speeds that were unimaginable. There was no traffic on the streets. And what we should have done, if we were really smart, is like kept the streets and the design in such a way that created that traffic and that slowness. So it maintained, so you still stayed at an average speed of, you know, 8 miles an hour through Times Square, because we created, you know, half the lanes were taken over by, you know, for bike lanes, like dedicated bike lanes, you know, with, I mean, here you can see there's 4 traffic lanes, right? So you could have imagined like a situation where, I'm just gonna go, it's okay. A situation where, oh, there's actually people here. Look at this. People are hanging out here. It's nice to see. You know, so a situation where like through Times Square like this, like nothing changed. Absolutely nothing about this streetscape like changed. But you could have imagined a situation where from a driver's perspective, the streets were just as slow, you know, just as sort of congested, but you created that congestion through, you know, intention, through like focus and like intentional design, where you created these like, you know, bike paths and different dedicated streets and things like that. Anyway, my point is that at this point, what you have, I was just waving down the Con Ed truck to not hit me, and now I'm good. Because what you are seeing now is drivers are really reckless. And so the numbers, the crazy thing is, even with traffic down, speeding accelerated, right? Speeding went up. Speeding went up. Crashes are basically as they were, even though there's way fewer cars on the road. That should be a massive indication that we have allowed way too many cars and there's way too much space for drivers. As we know, speed is like easily a top reason for crashes that happen. And they're made possible, like speed is made only possible because of physics, right? Like because you have the available space in front of you to accelerate to a speed that is higher than 25 miles an hour, which is the posted speed limit for all of New York City, but which we all know nobody actually follows. It's hard to follow that when you're on a street like this. It's like, you know, half empty, but it's much easier to follow if you dedicate half the street space to, you know, walking and whatever. And like here, I mean, you can see right up there, that's nice to see. There's, you know, they've got the parking protected, or restaurant seating in the parking spaces, which is great to see. This guy sort of went through a red light. There's nothing like a giant truck like with a loud engine right behind you to make you feel like you're really safe. Demolition specialist. Hey, at least they have Vision Zero bars on the side there of the rig. That's great. This Jersey driver right here didn't want to slow down. So, yeah, 7th Avenue they should have immediately said, let's accelerate the timeline for a protected bike lane here. We know that people are going to use this route. Like, we know people already use this route for biking. And like, what they do? Like nothing, literally nothing. I mean, 6 months have gone by, and it's crazy. You look at like Paris and London, and you look at the kind of stuff they were able to do in a few months. You know, I don't get it. We're just so dysfunctional here. It's the same shit. It's the exact same situation here. Even though you have like 100 times the cyclists. You're like, yeah, let's allow in all this shitty traffic everywhere you go. Oh, I can't even go. Yeah, and then you have stuff like this. You have, look at this gridlock. Let's just take a moment to reflect here. So this is a bunch of shit here, here, and this is not a through street. Can I get through here? Oh, thank you. All right, well, I guess the cops made an open street just for me. This is like so ridiculous. This is, so the cops have just taken over the 30th Street. Like, look at this, it's all on the sidewalk. This is not a functional place. You know, if you need to get into any of these spaces, like, I don't even know what you're doing here. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I do know what's going on. The police took over this space to park all their cars and I guess like turn it into a fortress or something. And I guess they allow in like trucks every now and then, which is really bizarre because like that doesn't seem like a safe thing, you know? Because like a truck could be a bomb, and I don't want to say anything, but you know, they didn't really check the. It's really weird. It's like a really, really bad kind of fortress in like another country, like in a you know, like an embassy or something. But they just let anybody in. You're like, oh, you're in a truck. All right, whatever. You're good enough. Come on in, buddy. You're on a bike. I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. Come on in. Everybody else, no, you can't even walk on the street. Like, I don't get it. Like, look at this. So look at this space here. It's all lined with cars, parked cars, all on the sidewalk. Like, it's not functional for anyone else. So that's really fun. I am heading over to Broadway here. Yeah, like you ride around, and I think like the crazy thing about Paris and these other cities that took this stuff really seriously is like, I think if you were like a regular rider in those areas and you rode around a little bit, you would quickly see and spot like lots of new infrastructure, you know? And here you just don't really see anything. Oh, this is nice. Oh, they put grass down. They put the AstroTurf down. All right, this is me. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I hope this isn't my last, my first and last ride, but here, let me, I'm actually gonna put my cell phone here. Oh, it's 30 minutes. Wow, that's pretty quick. Yeah, I wasn't wearing a mask, but it's because I'm biking, so whatever. I'm like, I don't even come within 20 feet of most people. All right, this was fun. Hopefully, I'll see you again. Okay, like and subscribe.